So welcome to the fans forum, Neil. Appreciate you coming along again to talk to us. First of all, just thanks for our early Christmas present on Saturday. Great win at Birmingham. I think everybody on here is really chuffed with the way things are going. So really appreciate that. As usual, going to go around, I suppose, and get the guys to ask you some questions, I think, more than anything else, and hopefully you can answer them for us. So I'll start off just as my screen's looking. John Cutler, do you want to go with some questions?
Yeah, sound. Hello, Gaffer. First of all,
Right.
can I thank you and your backroom staff for all your hard work while you've been at the club?
Oh, sorry, I've got you here. Yeah, go on. Say it again now.
First of all, can I thank you and your backroom staff for all your hard work while you've been at the club? The difference not only in performance of the team, but individuals has been amazing. Players like Boro, Steele, John O'Fry, and the Rolls Royce that's Paddy McNair. Other than hard work, what have you done to change the performance of these individuals? Is it an arm around the shoulder, a rollicking, or a bit of both?
I think it's just the way that I am as a manager. I am, I try and work hard to get the dressing room right, to get the team spirit, the camaraderie. Because usually the teams that take over, they haven't got the best players, and so they've got to have. It's got to be more of a team effort really than an individuals, and it's just trying to get the best out. I saw at the end of last season, I saw things that I didn't like about some of the players, and in fairness to them, they've all worked hard in the summer. Well, the summer, you know what I mean, a couple of weeks break that we had, and I think Cornwall, when we went to Cornwall, I think that really cleared the deck. I think that was a great week for us, and it showed one or two of them what they're capable of, and also gave me a chance to talk to them individually away from football, if that makes sense. I talked to him down there, training ground and my house and different places, and it's a lot better when they're relaxed. And just asking them to try and we've got to try and get them playing to the strengths, and try and give them the confidence. Young lads in particular, it's usually a matter of confidence, and I think these lads were a little bit short of that. I think the likes of Bowler. Dick Steele, probably when they come into the team at a difficult time, probably the crowd was very, and they're very young and nervous lads, and they probably couldn't cope with that at the time. Whereas now, I think if we had a full house and they were all booing them, I think they'd be all right. I don't think that bit now would affect the character now. I think they know that they're good enough, and that the confidence will come through. In fact, I think now they'll relish playing in front of a crowd to show them what they can do, really.
Is John?
Yeah. Sadly, the times as managers, like Middlesbrough's very own Brian Clough, seem to have long gone. I would imagine there's been times when you've wanted to throttle players in the past, and you maybe actually have. What, if anything, have you had to change as your career has progressed with regards to player management?
I don't think I've changed that much, if I'm honest. I think what's changed is I think Wenger changed an awful lot regarding we were all sort of programmed, and then Wenger come into the country with new nutritionalists, new statistics, and new fitness regimes, and what you can eat, what you can't eat, how you can sleep, and all these things that they brought in, which were unheard of, really. And I think managers just had to change with the times. But as I've said in many conversations with journalists over the years, the one thing that doesn't change in management is what I did at Gainsborough Trinity when I first started, and what I'm doing now is 90%, probably 95% at times in management is about man management, not tactics, not coaching, not doing this, that, and t'other. There's not rocket science, really. I think whatever job you're in, whether you run a garage or a shop or anything, it's getting the best out of what you've got. And players, I think players enjoy working harder when they enjoy coming into work, and there's humour around the place. We have a laugh. Most days we have a good laugh about certain things, and I'm always ripping into one or two of them. And they know that that's how I am, and that's how I think they enjoy that. But they know on a Saturday, come kick-off time, it's serious business, and at half time, and they've done well, really. I've had to have one or two little digs at them over the course of the season, as you'd expect. And, I think they've took it on board, really, my criticism, and we're trying to work really hard. There's certain things we can't do, which, you know what I'm talking about. We'll never score from a corner kick unless a goalie throws one in, like Saturday. I think that's the first time we've ever scored from a corner kick in it while I've been here. This season, anyhow.
With him being a former player of yours, did you have a word with him on Saturday?
Yeah. No, I felt sorry for him. He's a very good keeper, actually. And he's had a great season for Birmingham. He's won quite a lot of points for him, which is what you want your goalkeeper to do. So I know Ater didn't really criticise him too much because that's the first bad game he's had, I think. So, yeah, I was pleased it came from the game with us. But I know how good he is. He could play in the Premier League tomorrow, could Neil. It's just one of them games. Yeah, as a goalkeeper, you get it. When you make a mistake as a goalie, it's usually cost you. Whereas, elsewhere, midfield up front, and you can make as many as you want, and it's not glaring, obviously,
Yeah. Can you give us a bit of insight into what your day consists of after training, Neil?
Well, it depends which day. We've had really no rest this last few weeks because we've had games every Wednesday. So we play Wednesday and Saturday, which I think is the short straw, really. I think I'd prefer Tuesdays. But we've had to do it, the television, they said we had to do it for the red button. But then the first game wasn't even on the bloody red button. So that was a load of rubbish. So we play on a Saturday. I give them Sunday off. We'll come in on a Monday and have just a light. Some of the lads like Paddy and Sav and that who've done all the travelling, and Dale Fry who's played all the games. They last few weeks they've just gone in a swimming pool on a Monday, and unless they wanted to do a little bit of jogging and running, if they've got a little knock or something, and the physio feels it's better that they just have a little bit of exercise. The other lads that haven't played will have a decent session on a Monday and finish with a five-a-side. Tuesday, then we just do a warm-up. I said Tuesday. Monday afternoon when we finished, we then, obviously everybody has the lunch, and then we look at, in that time, the IT lads, Phil, who's our chief IT lad now, and Curtis, they do all the videos, or they give us all the information on the people we're playing on the Wednesday. They'll do strengths and weaknesses, and then they'll show me a package of about 15 minutes. I'll tell them if there's certain things I might not want on it when I look at it. I don't want to give players excuses or things like that. So there'll be certain things I might not like, and I'll inform them, and they'll just carry on and redo it. And then I will do the press conference, usually on a Tuesday, the day before. I come in so the lads are in at 12 and they're doing a meeting. We'll have a meeting to show the video probably about 12:30, and what we do is I try and do the press about 11:30. I usually do about 35 minutes. 40. I can't stop talking when I'm up here, so they've nothing else to talk about, so they want me to talk forever. Some of these press guys. So I'm usually do about 35 minutes, and then I go off. I look at the completed video then, what Blackie and Ronnie has been through with what I've said as well, and the clips they've got. And then they want to know my team before I do the press conference, so that they've got all the names on the board and who's marking who's doing this, who's doing that, and then the way that the opponents play, they'll let us know, what our strength is and what their strength is, etc. So it's that's all. Tuesday, then obviously Tuesday night. I don't know. It varies what time you get off on a Tuesday, but Wednesday morning the lads are off. They if they're at a home match, they don't come in until the evening game. If we're away, it's slightly different because we'll train on a Wednesday morning if we're in a hotel somewhere. I don't like them being in the hotel room all day. So we get up and have breakfast, and 10 o'clock we'll go and have a training session till lunchtime. And then they'll have a bit of lunch, and we'll have the meeting. And we'll have had the meeting before we trained. Come back, have the lunch, and the lads will go to bed in the afternoon and off to the game at night. Then the day after, the Thursday, we're back to normal, depending on how far we're travelling. We'll come in If it's a long journey, we'll probably not come in until Thursday afternoon. I'll give them a few hours more sleep. If it's a close journey, we'll come in on the Thursday morning, and we go through it all again then Thursday, Friday, do the press conference on a Friday and the meetings about the Saturday, and so it's been a non-stop. I've never known anything like it really in my career, and hopefully we'll all get the injection in the new year, and by next season it'll be back to normal.
Last one from me, give everyone else a try. Without naming names, Neil, last week you said that you'd like to have players in early in January. Are we close with any players without naming names?
No, not really. We are talking. I mean, it's not that we're not talking, but at the moment, it is very difficult, you know. And we looked at one very good player abroad, but we were talking about me going over to this particular country with Neil in January. We've got a 3 or 4 day break between the 6th, I think, the 10th. But as we're going at the moment, I don't think we should be going anywhere abroad. I just think it's too dangerous, and there's no way I want to buy a player again without seeing him, really.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Huskinson, do you want to go?
Yeah. Hello, Neil.
I've got you. All right, sir.
Just basically, it's not really about football, it's more about the Teesside area. How have you enjoyed it? And have you been around the countryside? And where have you been, basically?
Yeah, got your all.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sorry about that.
I mean, when we first come, we went to. There's quite a few places I want to go to. First of all, I wanted to go to Bedale, because my mum and dad. I only picked one of my pictures of my mum and dad was when they got married, and I think he had a Royal Enfield 350 or something like that, and they went on the honeymoon. She was on the back, he was behind, and Bedale was the place with a little bridge. So I said to Shannon, I wouldn't mind trying to find that bridge. You know, it's. So we've been out there a few times. Richmond is nice, and obviously where we are, we often, well, not now because it's too cold, but we often been cycling, probably do 30 miles a day, you know, in Sharon, because we've got these electric bikes, and we go all over the show, you know, Great Smeet and that way out, and right bound to, is it Sandburg or wherever, on that way. You know, we try to go all over the show, you know, take a flask of coffee in the back, and you know, when I first went, it's surprising how many supporters I saw. You know, they'd be hanging out the vans with the computer, with the bloody phones and that, you know. But at the moment I go disguised now. I don't go in any Middlesbrough clothes, so I don't think anybody recognises us now.
So the north east's not as bad as what we're perceived then, down south?
No, I think when you're down south, it's like, I always thought I could never manage below Watford, because I thought that were the pits. You know, I used to think from in Sheffield, I don't want to work anywhere down there with them lot. But I loved it. I loved it behind going down to Crystal Palace and QPR. I really enjoyed it. They were my kind of fans and all, right on top, you know. And I think Middlesbrough's, I've always sort of got on well up here when I've come up here. I think the fans are they're my type of fans. You know, they're hard-working. A lot of them have had bad times with this flaming pandemic. And I think it's just nice to trying to put a few smiles on the faces, really, because it is I mean, I think you do get tainted with up here, but you know, I mean, I played at Hartlepool, and well, you know what they say about Hartlepool, but I loved it, me. I loved Seaton, Carew, where I were in digs, and you know, all the way around that side. Went to Saltburn a couple of months ago with the dogs. That was beautiful, and the fish and chips and everything. So, you know, it's like anything else. I think wherever you go, it's what you see, what you want to do. You know, it's like up here, when I talk to journalists and I meet fans, I can tell more or less straight away if their glass is half empty or is it half full. You know, mine's always half full, sometimes 3/4. But a lot of people I meet, you know, we lose 2 games a couple of weeks ago. You'd think the glass was almost cracked. You know, it's one of those things. It's I suppose you get used to it in that sort of mode, but as a manager, I can't get myself in that mode. I've just got to, because the next day you've got to get up and get on with it, and you've got to lift the players. So the defeat, I don't like the defeats. I hated the Norwich one in particular because we should have won that game. But you've just got to get on with it and move on. And same with the Stoke and Preston games.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Neil. Thank you, Mark.
Neil, just a quick one from me as well. Marvin Johnson, I mean, this season, I mean, his assists and goals are just like out of this world from what we've seen previously. Is anything being done, like, particularly to work with him or work on him? Because he just seems like a completely different player, constantly putting the crosses into the box. It's just amazing at the moment.
I think he likes the way I play. I think it helps him that I don't complicate it. I want him to push the ball past somebody and whip it in. If they don't need to put it past him, if he gives him half a yard, put it in early. And I think he's doing that. You know, he had one mediocre game where he crossed everything into the goalkeeper's hands. But other than that, you know, he's been very, very good, and it serves the job, you know. And he's doing a job. I mean, ideally, you know, I'd love a forward there and a forward on the other side, you know, but we've got what we've got. So you can't, you know, I don't think beggars can be choosers, really. We've got what we've got. They're doing the best. And, you know, I've had Jed on the other side at times. Then Tav's done both sides. You know, we are a bit short in that area. Brownie, I thought, was going to come good a few weeks ago. Then he picked this hamstring up. But he's back training today. So he'll be absolutely busting a gut to get a chance. And I think it suits Brownie the way we're playing, because he's like Duncan Watmore. When he plays in the left role or the right role, he's always looking to get in the box to score goals. It's different for Marv and Jed. They're not used to that. They're used to getting in a good, safe position. Are you with me? But to score goals, you've got to gamble. You know, you've got to gamble. You know, like Duncan's, I think it was the second goal, or where Sav's made a miss-hit a shot and Duncan's anticipated it. You know, we'd have still been outside the box, some of the other lads. Whereas Duncan went to the throw-in, got it, give it back, and he didn't wait. He turned around and got straight in the box. Bang, 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 Sav shot, and it's a goal. They're the ones, you know, the players, you've got to get goals. We aren't going to score goals from set pieces. No good, me, bull, talking load of bull. I might as well tell you the truth. So it's not that we don't work on it. You might think we don't work on it. If I tell you we work on it nearly every day, and we still can't get a goal. So it's not that we're not working on it. It's just how it is. You know, I know Sean Morrison will score between 6 and 10 goals every year. Are you with me in the Championship? I just know that. Especially if you've got a Paddy McNair putting the ball in. But we haven't got a Morrison in that way. But you've got to remember that we've got the opposite. We've got other pluses probably that Sean hasn't got. You know, Dale Fry, I think, is probably as good a centre half in the league. I think Paddy is the best there is in the league. So we've got two that might not do certain things, but they make up for it in other ways. So, and that's what you've got to find a way of getting more goals, find a way of winning games, and get the best out of what you've got.
Right. No, thanks. Michelle, do you want to go?
Yeah. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Michelle. Sorry, look, just drinking my coffee.
You all right? I wondered whether, I know you said you don't do social media, but you've got people who tell you what goes on. I'm obviously on a lot of the forums. Do you understand how much the Boro fans actually appreciate what you've done? Because in all my time with social media, I've never seen so many fans agree and appreciate a manager like they do with you. And it's quite refreshing.
The thing is,
I went to Cardiff. I've not spoke about Cardiff really since I left. I'm sure this will get back. But I went to Cardiff, and that club was in disarray, really. We managed to stay up, and then we turned it round. We got promotion the following season. And I always said when I went to Cardiff, you know, I will leave when I know that a group of fans don't want me. Don't have to be the majority. But I said, when things start going wrong, I don't want to be there. I want to be, you know, I want to be appreciated, and I want to work hard. And after we got relegated, which was unjust, really, we shouldn't have got relegated. That many things went against us. We were going. We had a couple of bad games. We lost to the local derby, Swansea and Bristol City, and you know there were a lot of fans. I know you only get the rebellious ones, don't you, on certain forums. But some of the things they were saying, I couldn't be having that, mate. And I remember telling Mehmet after the Bristol City game, I think it was, I said, look, Mehmet, I don't need this. You know, I think you should be getting somebody else in now. And that's how I felt. The same here, really. If fans, you know, if they don't, even if it's a minority, if they don't want me, I won't hang about, Michelle. I'm not like that now. I don't need it now. I know what I can do. I know. I think every club that I've left them in a better shape than what I took over, and I just do my best. I want everybody to enjoy it. I want players to come in smiling. I want them to die for me on a Saturday. I want the fans to love every minute. You know, yeah, all right. You know, I mean, if you think about the accusations about long ball and all that, all right, I don't like short goal kicks. That don't mean I'm long ball. I just don't like it where they pass 10 times, lose it, and then end up kicking it anyhow. You know, so if you class that as long ball, Michelle, it's because it's Neil Warnock. Are you with me? That's
yeah,
long.
no, I totally agree, yeah.
And it isn't long ball. It's just that I don't want us to make a cock up at the back when there's no need. So I just have different interpretations of what this complete football. You know, you've seen it all before. The fans of, you know, they want a different style. They want to play better football. They want this. They want that. The grass is not always greener. You know, I remember being on TalkSport when I was out unemployed for about 3 or 4 months, and they were slaughtering Wenger, absolutely slaughtering him. And I loved him, Wenger, me. And yes, he did make a mistake in the fact that he never tried to sign a centre half in the last 5 years. Goodness knows why, because he never had one. But I used to go on and say, be careful what you wish for, you Arsenal fans, because it ain't as easy as what you think. And then they got another guy in, sacked him. Now they're having a go at Arteta. You know, I look around the whole country at different levels. I keep my eye on all sorts of managers and things and fans. And it's, you know, I know it's a game about opinions, but if I didn't enjoy it, Michelle, I wouldn't be in it now. And, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Sharon, if it weren't for Steve Gibson, because I thought my time was up. Rotherham, hopefully we play at Boxing Day, that was a turning point for me. That when Sharon, you know, you've heard the story about kicking me out when she was having chemotherapy one morning, and I ended up at Rotherham, and for 3 months, I loved every minute. The lads, no disrespect to them, this is not the same squad that's coming on Saturday, but the group of lads that I had were 6 points adrift, getting relegated, and we managed in 14 games to keep them up, which was incredible. But it got me buzzing again, and that's why, even when they asked me to stay, I wanted a chance of promotion. So I waited, and there were a couple of clubs turned me down, and then Cardiff, Mehmet Dalman, the chairman there, asked me to go to meet him, and within 2 minutes I knew I wanted to work for him. Very similar to Steve. I wanted to work for Steve, bloody hell, 20, 30 years really. And whenever he's not appointed me, I always told him it when I saw him, your mistake, your error, that son. You know, so we've always had that kind of relationship. And you know, last week I said, this is great, and you know, first time in my career, I'm not bothered about getting the sack. You know, this is fantastic, Steve. Because he has to laugh, and I have to admire. I mean, what he's done for this club is unbelievable. I've never seen a club like this, Michelle, and it's great to get the lads. We've only got a young group, but in training and the other night when we come back on that bus, if I could have recorded it for you. That's what you want to be. That's what I've got goose pimples now. That's why you want to be in football. Trips home like the other night, you listen to your boys behind and they're all laughing and joking and shouting at each other, and you think, wow, you know, I love that. Because it's a horrible game when you're losing week in, week out, relegation, you know. You could sense that bitterness last year, the bitter taste in your mouth about the fear. You know, I wanted fear. I said to him, bloody hell, I'm 72, lads, you know. I'm not far off. And, you know, enjoy it while I'm here and make sure you do the business.
I think that's, as fans, all we can ask for. It. I like the going back to basics and things. I'm realistic. I know that if you've not got the money to spend like your big clubs, you can't go and play this attacking football that fans want. But what I love about this season is, you know, some games I think we've played quite well, and I think it goes amiss sometimes because it's like you say, because of the style that you play. I like Luke.
I thought you weren't going to criticise me then like that. I don't think that. I thought, will she dare say the way you play? Oh, allegedly that is, isn't it, Michelle? Allegedly.
And I'm saying allegedly because I don't agree. I've been a fan. I was a fan of you. I know you said quite recently where the fans for the team that you manage love you, and the other fans tend to have different feelings. But I was a fan of yours before you become our manager. So when I seen on Sky Sports it came up that you'd taken over, I was absolutely buzzing. But I just love how you can go from the Luton game, where I think we did really well, when you look their stop, I think Bournemouth scoring at the weekend, and we grinded out that 1-0, and then we go to Birmingham, go 1-0 down. And in the past, as a Boro fan, we'll all tell you now, we'll have just said, that's it, 1-0 down. But it's different now. We came back from 1-0, and it absolutely best Christmas present I'll get this year. Yeah. And I think as fans, that's all you can ask for, is that you grind out those results when you need to. And to score 4 goals, I mean, wow, we're not used to this.
I think the three games last week, if you looked at the week, we'd had 2 really poor results, hadn't we? And
we were a bit low. Young lads were a bit down, a little bit on the Thursday morning when we come in after the Preston game, and I said to them, like, look at you now, you know, the heads are down. When you've lost a game, you're like that, whereas when you're winning, you're up in here looking at your in face. And I said, just look at you, all of you here. I said, do you know me? I'm 72 and I manage one of the best clubs you could ever wish to manage. And I love it here. I said, you were playing for one of the best clubs you could ever play for. You're getting paid for it. There's a bloody pandemic on. People are dying in here. People are not out of work in North East. You've got everything. You should love it. Coming in, playing. That's what we've got to do. We've got to be the happiness around the place, which we have. We've got to build it all up for everybody. And I said, I don't want any. If I see anybody with gloomy faces on that training ground in the next couple of days, you've had it. And that's the way you've got to be. The 3 games since, which we've managed to win, we've won every one of them games with different characters, with different types of what we need in the Championship. You know, we started off like house on fire against Millwall, then we had to defend. And then the Luton game is the most satisfying game of the lot for me, because
same for me.
I didn't think it was a sending off, which it turned out it wasn't. He shouldn't. I don't even think he saw it, the referee. I think he went on what their lads were shouting. And so that game there, I thought epitomised everything about us then. You know, we're winning 1-0. All right, we had a bit of luck with the penalty, but we should have had the Norwich one, so it evens up. But the way we defended, it was magnificent. I loved it. That was the best result of the season for me as a manager. You know, I told them how proud I was after that game. And I said, you know, Birmingham Saturday, we've got some tough games now. Get ready for that. And to go behind, it don't worry me as much when we go behind now. You don't like it. But, you know, football is so like, man, that difference between winning and losing. Marcus's left foot stopped us from going 2 down. You know, at Birmingham, that might have been a different ball game. You don't know. Young lads, you know, they tend to heads go down a little bit quicker than old experienced ones. But on the other side, on the flip side, young lads have got all the energy. We've got loads of energy, loads of commitment, loads of desire. You know, we want to do this, we want to do that. People aren't in the team like Wingy has been busting a gut to get in the team, and it's lovely to see him score a goal. And you know, when he hasn't had much luck in, you know, so it is great. You've got to think of the good things that we've got. And yes, we are at times with the age of the team, we are going to make mistakes and going to cost us games. But hey ho, we've got half a season left, and it's so much better than being at the other end of the table, isn't it? Where you're panicking about losing your status and that. You know, we're enjoying it. We're very much outsiders. I don't think anybody's mentioned us, and quite rightly so. But if we'd have beaten Blackburn, which we should have done, if we'd have beaten Huddersfield, which we should have done, if we'd have beaten Norwich, which we should have done, another 8 points, you know, I think would be our true reflection of this season, mate. So I am disappointed, yeah. But, you know, I think we should still enjoy it and look to improve. And if I can bring the couple of players in, I might bring players in and they might not be any better, so I might end up going back to the lads I've got in. But I've got to try and bring a couple of wide players in, or one, we've got to get some more goals when we need more attacking threats. And Duncan's done ever so well. You know, I was right pleased with Duncan. But I would like to bring one or two more in at that respect. It's different in other positions. I don't really want to bring pairs in for the sake of it, if I'm honest. If everybody was fit, you know, are we going to get a better striker than what we've got? You know, if Ashley's fit, I think we'll have a job to do that. I was going to go abroad to look at somebody in January, first week in Jan. But I don't think we should be going abroad now, not at my age anyhow. I think we should send, you know, I don't really want to buy another player. Like I said to you, I don't want to buy a player without seeing him. So we might have to give that a miss. And if we can pick up a couple, even if one or two's on loan, just to get the number in, don't mean they're going to start. Might not be any better than what we have, but it just gives you a bit of option. I mean, the other night we had 2 young kids on the bench and 2 goalies. Out of 9, you know, we didn't have a lot of choice the other night. And the week before, when Woodsy weren't there, we'd got no defensive cover at all, really. So, you know, we ended up with Sam Morsey going centre half the other night, middle of them 2 when they put 4 forwards on. And you'd think he were a centre half, little Sam, when he played. But players are going to have to do little things like that. They're going to have to play different positions and what have you. But they're such a good group. I don't think nobody complains about it. You know, I just think, you know, when I come off the bus the other night to Bowler, he was shouting at somebody. I went and I said, yeah, Bowler, before I come, you couldn't even get in bloody Blackpool team, you. You know, and we all had a big laugh about that. So, you know, it is good. It's a good group at the minute, and you've got to enjoy it, especially at my age, because you know you've not got long left. Whereas a young manager, you might not be able to enjoy it as much because of the pressure of getting results, and you know managers losing a job, and there's so much more media coverage now for managers. You know, there's phone-ins and your forums and things. You know. Everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody who you're going to play tomorrow. I don't think he's made the right decision there. And I don't read I do read the forums, by the way. I read. I can't work them all out, but that main forum, I pressed that MFT. Is it FT or something?
What is it?
FMT.
Oh yeah.
I read them and I think I wish I could bloody answer that one, but I don't.
Like you say, all fans think that the managers, and they all have their own opinions. But I do think, especially after Birmingham game, and I'm sick of seeing and reading Roberts. It's probably as much as you're hearing it as well. And I think that game on against Birmingham, there was lots of people saying, just leave the management to Neil. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I think
it is frustrating for somebody like Patrick, because when I brought him, I thought we could get away with him in certain positions, but unfortunately in the Championship, and
when you put him out wide, or you know, I don't want him chasing fullbacks in our defensive third, and I don't want him doing the other, you know, and so it's really the number 10 role for Patrick, and we've not really. I don't think we've been strong enough to get away without 3 midfielders most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, when we play likes of Brentford and people like that, I think you've just got to have strong in there. So it's not his fault. It's not Patrick's fault, but it's been a disappointment because he is a lovely player when he's flowing and what have you. But it's how it is. A manager, you know, you've got to pick what you think's the best team, really.
Yeah, I think people who understand football and the systems that we play will understand the situation. I think a lot of fans just see a flair player and they want them to play and they want them to start every week, but not understanding that doesn't necessarily fit the system that we want to play, and it's working so far. So
I used to get, I mean, when I used to look at the Cardiff ones, you know Lee Tomlin for a start, you know, who was here, wasn't he? Had a great time here, and a very good player, you know. And they've got 3 or 4, not like that, but they've got 3 or 4 what I would call that can turn a game. Are you with me? Like a Patrick Roberts. And the questions were why I weren't playing them all. You know, I'm thinking, well, I'm not playing them all because they'd be through us like a, you know, when you see somebody like that, like Patrick and Tomo, when they're on fire, they're absolutely wonderful to watch. And I had a Tarab at QPR and never thought I'd ever manage a player like him, if I'm honest. But I did enjoy that year. It was a challenge for me to get promotion with somebody, a maverick like this lad. And some of the things he did, I couldn't believe really. But I did love it. It was hard work for me. But, when we got promotion, the satisfaction I got from doing that. And, I've had different promotions with different groups and things. But, I have enjoyed it. I mean, I'm lucky to have 8 promotions. And the thing about my teams is when we've had these promotions, going back to Scarborough in '86 and that, they all have reunions and they all turn up. Unless there's something ill health with any of them, they all turn up on them reunions, and they're still a great bunch of lads, as I knew them when I managed them. Now, when you look at the modern game, no disrespect, but when they kiss the badge nowadays, I laugh my head off me. I look at the Premier League. Do you think the Premier League teams now that win the league will have a reunion in 10 years? Or I don't think so. I don't think it's like that anymore. Whereas I love building a team to win something and then watch them. The Plymouth Argyle had a reunion last year, and it was just like going back home. Because I live down there now as well. So it was just when I went in the room and talking to the different players, they hadn't changed. Yeah, they'd aged, but they hadn't changed at all. It was unbelievable, really. So I get a lot of pride from looking around a dressing room and seeing players start believing and seeing them improving in areas, and then even more so. And then all of a sudden, before you know where you are, they think they're in. It's like immovable. They've got so much team spirit, and it does not help. It goes a long way, team spirit, to winning games in the Championship. We played a team. Sorry, Michelle. We played a team a couple of weeks ago. And I remember saying to the players, these have got some great players tonight, lads, but we've got a great team. That's the difference for me. And that's how it is in the Championship.
Thank you. I mean, I could literally just chat to you all night, so I'll else have a go. Thank you.
Paul and Oliver, do you want to go?
Good evening, Neil. I don't know if you can see us. We can't see you. It's a black screen.
No, I can't see him.
No.
Is that him up here?
Yeah,
I've got you. Yeah, I've got you.
I just before I ask you a question, then just brought my 7-year-old son Oliver along with me. For a match. Should be his first season ticket this year, but unfortunately we can't get there. But we've loved watching it on the computer and my son.
Yeah.
But like echo what everyone else has said, really, it's been a breath.
Oliver, when we've scored.
Sorry, what was that?
Has he been jumping up, running around the room when we've scored?
Yeah.
His favourite player's injured at the minute, Ashley Fletcher, but there you go. Ashley Fletcher is his favourite.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, I'm mine. He's training hard now. He's been really working hard this last 3 weeks, and can't wait to get him back on the grass. I can't rush him too much. I think I said to him the other day, end of January, Ash, is it? They tell me, he says, no, Gaffer, no. I'll be training next week, he says, and I'll be ready middle of January, second week in Jan. So, that's how they are. They want to play now, so I hope so, because we've missed him, really. It's hard when you've got, no disrespect to the lads, I think they've done well, but it's nice to have somebody else like that.
Yeah, definitely. Just a couple of questions then, if you don't mind. You've already started to touch on some of the ones I was going to ask. But first one, Boro related then. So in an ideal world, how many do you think were short then, January, for the squad, to give us a real good go at the top 6? And in what positions?
Well, if we didn't get any injuries, it wouldn't worry me. What I don't think we should do is sign players for the sake of signing them. I mean, I was going to say on big money, but there's no chance of that anyhow. Not with us. So it's just a matter of, I think the lads at times need a bit of help. Like I've said to you, we need options. Not so much up front, really. I know it sounds silly, but if if Fletcher's fit and the other two are still here, then I think it's more wide positions that we need, more than up front, because I think we've got to create more. I think Marvin's shown that when you create chances, you're going to get them, and we've given George Saville a little bit more freedom to get in the box. Because when I was trying to sign him before you signed him, For me, I thought he was almost a number 10. He was a forward that could get in the box and score goals. Whereas I think you signed him here as a number 6, really. And I don't really see that, if I'm honest. So I give George the option, him and Winger the other night, get in the box whenever you can, and don't worry about where your man is. And I thought they attacked the balls a lot in the box.
I suppose, and like when Fletcher and Grant Hall come back, the amount of time they've been out tonight, 2 new signed as well, 2 new additions.
And I thought, Johnny House to me has been the best midfield player in the league this season. I just loved everything he's done. But in fairness to him, I don't think he'll mind. We haven't missed him in result-wise, because Sam Morse's done that job, done a brilliant job. So it's nice for us to know that if Johnny's out, we've got Sam in. Are you with me? And numbers. So what I don't want is too many choices and then too many disappointments. I'd rather have a small squad. I never moan about the small squad. The other night, they said to me on the bench at Birmingham, somebody said, he's made 5 changes. I said, bloody hell, I wish what was that like? What must it be like to make 5 changes? 5 subs. So I think it's just, we've just got to get on with what we've got. And as long as I've got more options for them wide positions, I'll be quite happy. I think I'd take a risk in midfield. There's one particular player I would like, but he's a free transfer in the summer. Right. In fact, there's 2 of them I like who are both free transfers in the summer. So, do I, have to pay money out now for 3 months, or do I make do with what I've got and get the, and thinking of for the club, and the club then gets 2 players on a free transfers? Are you with me? It's just working out what's best, and I think things will happen in the next 3 or 4 games. Really, I think that will make your mind up, because we're not going to win every game, are we? But it would help if we did.
I totally agree with you about Johnny House, and I must admit, there's like 6 or 7 of us who go. We're all in a WhatsApp group, and we all think, Christ, if Houghton or McNair get injured, what's going to happen? But you're right. We haven't had him for a few games, and there's certainly been no drop. Second half on Saturday was as good as it gets for me at Birmingham. So that is comforting.
Against Birmingham,
I did say a few words at half time, even though we were winning. I thought the first 20 minutes was unacceptable, and I thought that instead of waiting for them to do it, I thought we'd come into the game then after the 20 minutes. We got the 2 goals, but it's a difficult, if you're not careful at 2-1. It's like 2-0. It's they're not easy results, because you only need to make one mistake and you're up against it again. And I didn't think we were right on the front foot, whereas I thought we started the second half on the front foot, and I thought we kept on the front foot all throughout the second half. So I was pleased with that, and they know now that they can do that. So it was a good 45 minutes for us, that.
Yeah, dead right. Yeah, even though we were 2-1 up at half time, there was a lot to do, but we done it, to be fair. So fair play. Just a general football question then, Neil. This is the one I actually sent in to get me invited to this. But in all the years you've been a manager, then what would you say are the biggest changes? One for the positive, and likewise one for the negative in football.
Well, I think if VAR had been in a year before, I'd still be in the Premier League. I think I got done by Chelsea, 88th minute, something like that. I'll never forget it till I die, mate. I can see the linesman now putting it, not putting his flag up, and he says he couldn't quite see, but VAR, he were like 3 yards offside. Are you with me? So VAR, I like VAR, but I'm glad I'm coming to the end of my career, because I don't like it if I were a fan. I don't like it as a manager at VAR, thinking every time a goal goes in, oh, hold on a minute, let them have a look and let's see. You can't have that euphoria anymore when you score a goal. It wasn't brought in for that. I think until they get ex-managers and people that have played the game and know the game in that bloody studio with VAR, with a referee, you're never going to get any change. Because they're all robots. Mike Riley's a robot. He wants robots as referees. And when they make decisions, I mean, the number of people must shake their head when they make decisions. You know, you see, you know, as a manager, you know when he's dived, or 90% of the time, you know there's nobody touched him. And you know about these things, you know, your tackles. I knew looking at the Sam Morsey incident after the game, I can't believe how he's got sent off. How's he got sent? Is it me? You know, I'm saying to the IT lads, is it me or what? Well, have you got any other angles? There must be a different angle. Yeah, I've got one behind the goal. Well, show me that one behind the goal. And he's laid on front of his like stomach down under the... And he's hit him on the back of the arm from behind there. And he's not even... I mean, you know, they've got to be better. They've got to make better decisions than what they are. And there were talks today, Mark Halsey, who I used to know, the referee, he's saying they should be mic'd up. That will be the biggest... That would be the biggest mistake you'd ever made in their life, because then you would see just what they say and what utter rubbish it is sometimes. It will make them look silly. So there's no way that will come about, because they would look silly when you listen to what they're saying, some of these decisions. So I can't see that. So VAR, in a good way, I think they've got to change things now. The goal line technology was fantastic. That was because they can't complain. Nobody can call it a lie. So that was brilliant. They've got to change the offside rule now. You know, you can't have a fingernail offside nowadays to stop a goal. That's bloody ridiculous. So if they've got to change the offside rule to something like the body or the legs, are you with me, or something in that area. They've got different opinions, but something's got to happen with the offside. They can't keep using these bloody lines and almost inventing a fingernail. That's not what it was meant to be. They say that if it's 100% correct or what have you, but I don't agree with that, if I'm honest. So I think that's the plus side for VAR outweighs the negative, because with the VAR, the smaller clubs have got more chance because of getting a good decision. Because if VAR weren't on it, referees are human natures, and when they've got 50,000 fans behind them at a club, I'm telling you now, it's not easy to give a decision against that team. And my dad was a referee, and he always used to say to me about the influence that crowds have on them. And so you've got to take that away from them, I think. And whilst I think VAR's a good thing, I think it's going to have to be changed drastically. That a bad thing. The bad things the things that have changed for me really have been, if I'm honest, the pitches. The pitches are the good thing, you know. I mean, the good things the pitches were like. I mean, Derby County's baseball ground, bloody hell. I remember when we played in FA Cup against somebody, we asked fire engines to put hot water on to make sure we were playing Leicester City, Gary Lineker and all them. We said, can you flood it for us, make it as bad as you can? You know, we'll train on it. So we didn't want them passing it around. Where you don't get them pitches anymore. The pitches are all perfect now. The boots are like models.
So, but you know, you've got all these things that you know the players have now. It's all new, but you know, the game itself's not changed that much. It is quicker, and you do need, you know, in the olden days you used to say, well, what they're complaining at, you can do 5 or 6 games. We used to play Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, sometimes Boxing Day, but you can't do that now. With all these games now, the muscles are going to get some damage. And Dick Steele's been playing for the last 3 games. He's come back and we've won every game, and he's been nowhere near fit. He's played well for me, really. I know probably the cost us a goal at Birmingham, but overall, to say he's not fit, he's been fantastic at doing what he's doing.
He didn't look fit. Most that first half, I thought you could tell that number 11 gives hard time down that side first half, and we all said Dick Steele didn't look fully fit because he's been a revelation this season.
There's just certain things he can't do as good with his he's had that. So it'll be another 3 or 4 weeks, I think. But you said that, but second half, he never gave the kid a look in. The kid got substituted, and he ended up running through the middle of the pitch near end, dribbling, you know, as if he were a bloody striker. So, you know, he come through that. So I've got nothing but praise for him. But he's been a revelation, as Dick Steele.
Yeah, no, he did. He come. Yeah, it was his first 20 minutes or so. We had time. He could come through. I agree with that. Right, I won't hog it any longer. Then little fella's just got one question to ask if you don't mind, Neil, and then I'll let someone else.
Who was your favourite player you've ever managed?
The best player?
Yeah, you've ever managed.
Right, that's. I mean, when you get to my age, son, you can't remember last year. You know, so I mean, I would say Paddy McNair because I can't remember beyond last year. I'm not sure about the forwards. I've had some super forwards, Tarab and that at QPR, but I think Paddy's the most complete player that I've ever played with. But he can get a lot better yet, Paddy. You wait and see. He'll get a lot better yet. So you make sure he's your favourite next year, won't you?
Yeah.
Good lad.
Right, good stuff. Thanks very much. All the best. Thank you.
Tom, do you want to go?
Yeah, hiya Neil.
Hi, pal. Got you, yeah.
Yeah. First one.
That reminds me, son. I'm going to hairdressers at 9:30 on Wednesday. Just for a trim. Carry on.
Have the lads got Christmas Day off, or does it depend on what happens with the Rotherham match?
No, they'll have Christmas Day off. They might have another day off if it's off.
Yeah.
You see, you get I'm not saying young managers, but a lot of managers think they've got to do things. If you've lost games, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. If you've won, you know, and sometimes having time off is more important than having a flaming training session where you're running through. You know, it's what you think as a manager. I always think, I don't think my lads are going to get any fitter than what they are now. So I've got to try and just keep them mentally strong. And sometimes, as people ask me about Christmas Day, sometimes you're driving an hour and a half to come into training, you get changed, it's chucking it down with rain, you go and train and you come and have a shower, and then you go another hour and a half back. For me, sat at home opening presents, mentally, I think you're more happier, you're more tight, you know, there's enough time. I make sure they work out, nobody's fitter than us. So I'll make sure of that. So I'm not into that, mate, really. But I hope it's on. But, you know, if it's off, you know, we want to make sure everybody's safe, really, don't we?
And on the same theme as well, are you one of the managers that agrees with an idea of a winter break, or do you like the tradition of playing all the way through Christmas and through January?
Yeah, I think for the Premier League, I think a winter break it would be nice. You know, I think they could do a 2 weeks after the January, you know, after the FA Cup first round or something like that.
I think everybody would get used to it. I think it will come in that at some stage. It's just with our weather, you just don't know. You know, you could have snow in October here, couldn't you? You just don't know about the timing and everything. And then you get breaks, and then some clubs go off to bloody Dubai or somewhere playing charity matches. Are you with me? That's not what it's for. It's for resting your players. So it's a catch-22 really. I don't think it'll happen in the Championship, but I think the winter break will come in the Premiership.
Probably not while I'm working, but I think it will do in the next 10 years.
And is it something that you have wanted in the past, or have you always enjoyed just being able to play every week, or, you know, midweek and Saturday, Tuesday?
I think the last probably 4 or 5 years.
I think I've thought it would be a good thing now, you know. I mean, at this moment in time, you know, you like I say, I keep reminding you how old I am. But you look at the number of games we've had in this period since we came back, and, you know, I'm 72, and we're on the motorway every 3 days. We're in hotels, strange hotels. You know, we've got preparation for 2-3 games a week. It's hard work, and that's why I think when they get back to normal, I think the top flight might do that, because they've got European games, you know, the international games. For whatever reason now, the international break, which used to be 2 games, is flaming 3 games now, you know. And you know, I thought Paddy McNair were treated shabbily last time, the international break, because him and Dallas were the only 2 kept on in that last game. Nothing on the game. You know, they couldn't get through it all, and yet they made subs and didn't bring them off. I was absolutely astounded in that. And So it's difficult to. I've got to try and find a break for Paddy, possibly the FA Cup. I hope you lot don't think we're going to win the FA Cup, because we're not. We'll probably give quite a few players a game, and I don't want to get battered, but it's not important to me this year. Even though some press guy will pick up on that and make a big story of it. For the health of some of these players, they've got to have a break.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've just got one more. Do you have a lot of communication with the chairman? I know you said you were speaking to him last week. Is it quite regular, or is he quite hands off usually?
No, I probably speak to him more than other managers, because I just ring him out of the blue sometimes, and he rings me out of the blue. Are you with me? It's not like I ring him, I'm always after something. He cares, doesn't he? He cares so much. That's why when I look at the fans, the forums, you always get the odd, Gibson basher, don't you? Be careful what you wish for, everybody up here. He's a fantastic man. I've been dealing with him now 20 odd years, really, and as I said, I always wanted to show him how I could win. I didn't want to be conceited when I said I wanted to show him how good I was. I meant I wanted to show him what comes to the table with me. That's all. And I remember at Rotherham when Ita was here, when we played you down at our place. We played all the top 7 teams at Rotherham when I took over. Middlesbrough were one of them teams, and you should have been 4 or 5-0 up at half time. And I remember at half time I gave them the biggest rollicking they've ever had, the lads at Rotherham. They've never had one like that. And when I come out, I think I said to Blackie and runners, I come out, I can't do that every week. And they went out, and we absolutely physically mauled you second half. And we only got 1 goal. I think it was 1-0. And I got a message from Steve on my phone before the end. He must be on his way home, and he put something like, I knew at half time you'd beat us after that. I knew you'd get into him or something like that. So we always had messages like that. And likewise, when I got promotion with Cardiff, I remember ringing him, and he said to me, "What's your wage bill?" And I said, "This is what my wage bill is." He said, "You haven't got a chance." He said, "Mine's more than that in Championship." So I knew I ain't got much chance, but hey, I weren't far away. I were only, slightly away with Cardiff. So it's, it's one of them jobs that I enjoy his company. His wife and the family are very nice. I do. It's not like I'm a manager or I'm his manager when we're together. We're good friends, really. And I think that's what it will be when I finish. I don't want to finish falling out with Steve. I want to finish by going away and helping him whenever I can. I think I keep rollicking him because I keep saying to him, I didn't know why he's never rung me about some of these players they've signed over the last 10 years and asked me my opinion before they've signed them. Because they've spent a few quid. You can't say he's not put his hand in his pocket, can you?
No, absolutely not. Right, that's all from me. Cheers, Neil.
Thanks, Tom. See you at the Barbers on Thursday, then, eh?
Owen, do you want to go? Owen?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right, Neil.
Come on, all right, son, you?
Yeah, good, thank you. A lot of, obviously, we're in Middlesbrough. Not many people have heard of it. We're up in the gods out the way from anything. Is it easier to sign players in, for London teams? So you've been to, QPR, Palace, or do you reckon it doesn't really make a difference?
I think if you're in the top flight, yeah, it does help you. If you're in the Premier League, I think coming to London for a foreign player or another player, it's a great city. I mean, I'd tell you, and I used to think it was terrible below Watford, but when I went to Palace and QPR, I absolutely loved getting on the train in the afternoon, and within 20 minutes I was at Covent Garden, listening to the bloody musicians, having a coffee. It was just amazing. Different world, people watching and that. So it is different like that. It's difficult. It's different now for me up here because I think the players that will come to Middlesbrough now will come to play for me, if that makes sense. Not a manager, not a club, not a place. I think they'll come to play for me. That's how I look at it now. I think, will he play for me? And I mean, I don't have to tell anybody that comes what a club it is. You've only got to show them round. It's an amazing situation here. And some people might not realise that. I got a question early on, didn't I, about, was I surprised about up here, how nice it is. And I think you are. I think, you've got everybody thinks it's chemical works and smog up this part, and it's absolutely beautiful places. So I don't think championships like that. I mean, in the past, up till probably this season, most of it depended on how much money you were paying them, whether they come to Middlesbrough or Timbuktu or went to Flaming Crew Alexander. Their agents, they're not, most of them just bothered about what the clients can earn. Whereas now, I think we're in a situation now with this pandemic where everybody has to be realistic. And if you miss out on a player because he wants 10 grand more or something like that, then I think, it's his fault, isn't it? He's missed out on playing for me and club. And I don't worry. I missed out on 5 or 6 in the summer, and I don't think one of them's done that good. So I'm, in a way, I'm quite pleased I missed out on them. It's fate.
Yeah. And like we were on about referees earlier. Do you ever look at a team sheet and see a referee and think, I'm dreading having him, or?
Yeah, on a weekly basis, Owen. Yeah, I put my head in.
Every single one of them.
Like that, Owen. Yeah. But I think they might do the same.
Yeah, true.
I think the refs might do the same when they come in up here. Now, listen, we've had some decent referees, but unfortunately, we've had one or two that. I mean, we give marks. I don't know how important our marks are, but I try and be honest on my reports. I mean, you'd probably smile at some of the things I write on my report, but I can do that now at my age because they're not going to give me a telling off for that now. So I try and be constructive in a humorous way.
Yeah. And last one, if you weren't a manager, what would you have been?
Well, I would have been a chiropodist. That's what I was for 5 years. I was a qualified chiropodist, cutting toenails and ingrowing toenails and things like that. I had a practice in Sheffield, and it was only when I got to Scarborough, got promoted to the Football League, I had to make a decision, give up a lucrative practice, really. I was a good chiropodist. You wouldn't believe that, would you? But I was. Whether I packed that up or whether I give it a go at football management, really. And I thought, the hell to hell with it. I can always come back to chiropody. So I give it a go full time, really. And 40 years later, I'm here, still here.
You can always go back to it after you've finished at Middlesbrough.
I've still done a few. I drilled a toenail a couple of weeks ago. One of the lads who had blood under his nail. I helped one of the physios. That used to be one of my specialities. That getting the blood out in 24 hours before it congealed and went solid, and that becomes very painful then. So we worked on one of the lads. As I were doing it, I thought, bloody hell, I'm not doing this again. I'm not insured.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, so.
Ashley, do you want to go?
Neil, what you've done for the club's fabulous since you've come, the actual uplift. But you mentioned earlier, has there ever been seriously a time when you were going to become our manager in the last 10 years? When we sacked Southgate, I said Warnock. When we sacked Strachan, I said Warnock. Only Fells left. Obviously, now you've come, they're not laughing anymore. They can't believe what you've done.
I said exactly the same to Steve. Warnock, you want Warnock. He wouldn't bloody listen. He had, it worked out. A lot of times it worked out that when I was free, he'd already just got one in. Something like I think the nearest I come to coming up was, believe it or not, when Gareth Southgate were here. And I remember talking to Chris Kamara, and he was talking about Steve and this, and I said, I think Gareth's a good lad, and I think he'd learn working under me for a couple of years. I said, I think he'd do a world of good. But it never happened that in the end. He obviously took on, and I've got to say, I think, whilst I didn't think he was a great the team manager, I think he's done an amazing job with England. I told him, I met him about a year ago, and I said to him, I've got to tell you, Gareth, I don't think anybody could have done the job he's done bringing them kids in. It was made to measure for him, absolutely made to measure for him with the youngsters. Whereas I think the Championship, wow, it's a difficult league that for a young manager.
When you sign a player, Neil, whether it's a costly acquisition for a club, how much pressure is on you as a manager for it to be a success? Because if it isn't, the fans, the press,
I think there's more pressure on you when you pay money out.
You know, I mean, we paid whatever we paid for Tuba. That was the only one we spent money on, really. But there were none about. There were nobody else about. He's a good lad and all. I like Tuba played in the England under 20s, I think it was, with Duncan Watmore, believe it or not. So they've known each other, and they get such good lads. They are such nice lads. When I talked to him like I'm talking to you, I talked to him in which country were he? Turkey? I can't really remember. Greece. Oh, Greece, that's it. He's talking to him in Greece, and I had 15 minutes with him on the phone, like talking like you are with me. I was right impressed with him. I remember seeing him years ago. I think it was Arsenal he was at, something like that, as a young player. And we'd watched him, and there was nobody else really in England that we could, we had Britain, Ashley. I thought he had give us a little bit more different areas. So, no, that was good. I like to talk to him. I was talking to a player last week abroad, as I've told you about, and he was a lovely lad as well. Didn't speak a lot of English. But that you've got to be careful now with this pandemic in that respect. So at the moment, I'm probably just looking at the English league for this transfer window, and if it's, I don't think it's fair to spend that sort of money without seeing them. So I think if we have to bite his tongue and go with what we've got till the end of the season, and then so be it. I'm not going to spend his money stupidly, Steve, because he knows I'm not. But if there's somebody that I want, Steve's like to support me. He'll support me tomorrow. He'll let me have anything if I think it's the right thing. But I almost treat buying players as if it's my own money, which is unusual for managers, really.
Lastly, are you looking forward to managing in the Premiership next season, the age of 70 plus?
Yeah, I think we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, pal. I mean, what I would like to do is I would like to keep up the table and be close to the playoffs and give it a best shot. I think we've got a type of team. If we could somehow get into those playoffs, I think we'd be very difficult to beat. I don't think many people would want the players. So that's why it would be nice to get another couple in, just to supplement the squad we've got. But I've got to try and make sure that we don't damage the camaraderie that we've got in that dressing room and that team spirit. So if it means having a player less, so be it. One or two of the lads that aren't playing would probably like to go out on loan, but I can't see how we can do that unless we've got replacements. So I'll be looking at that as well. Near the time. Woody was unlucky, young Woody. I would have probably played him against Millwall if he hadn't have had to isolate. That's the luck of the draw, isn't it? Really. So it's one of those things. We'll have a look in the next few weeks and see what's what.
Cheers! Happy Christmas to everyone in Middlesbrough. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yusuf, do you want to go?
Oh, hi Neil. How's it going?
Where is it? Hi, son. All right, you too?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Firstly, when you first came to the club, one of the first things you said was that we lacked leaders. And do you think modern day football, we don't have the Roy Keanes, the John Terrys of the world. Is there a different type of leaders on the pitch?
Yeah, I think so now. I mean, that has probably been the biggest change that I've noticed, really.
I mean, at Cardiff, if I'm honest, we had Gunnarsson, Morrison, and major players. I mean, the fans used to give Morrison a load of stick, but he was my captain. I stuck with him through thick and thin, mate. And when I look at, there was him and Gunnarsson and there were 2 or 3 players like that could lead and could do my talking on the pitch. You know, we've got Johnny Howson and we've got Britt, but they're not real what I call massive talkers. Are you with me? They talk with the football, really. They talk by doing the business. So I found myself, I've probably been leading a bit more than I would have wanted to, if I'm honest. But it's like I said to you about the glass half empty, half full. You've got to think and look at what we've got, not what we haven't got. So we haven't got leaders. We aren't going to score goals from corner kicks. So we've got to score goals from somewhere else. So we've got to get leaders from somewhere else. And that's why you've got to get other players taking responsibility and talking on the pitch, which is what we try and do.
Definitely. And I heard a recent interview with Britt Sombolonga, and he spoke about, I think one of the questions that he was asked was, are you going to change as a captain? And his answer was that he wasn't going to change. He was still going to be doing the same thing. But do you think if you work as almost like a job like promotion, do you think players should change if they're given the captain's armband, or do you still think they should be exactly the same way without changing what they produce on the pitch?
Yeah, I don't think Britt changes. I think Britt's always helped people off the pitch. He's probably helped me a little bit more than he's probably done as an individual in the past, where he'd just come train and gone home and things like that. So, you know, I always ask his opinion on all things off the field as well. And he'll tell me if there's something not quite right in the dressing room, and we talk between us. That, you know, your captain's got to be right up there with yourself to have any success. And so he's sorted a lot of problems out, and I think he'll have sorted these out anyhow before captain. You know, if he weren't captain. So I don't think he's changed. I think, like you say, I think the thing about a forward having a captaincy, if you have a bad game, it's because you're captain. When you're not captain and you have a bad game, nobody says, "Oh, it's just a bad game." So it is, you know, it's easy to criticise. Johnny Howson's a good captain. Paddy McNair's a good captain. You know, they're very similar people. They all care, but they have their own way. They have their own way of talking. You know, you're not going to see Paddy McNair grab anybody by the throat, and Johnny Howson, you know, it'd be a little tap with some of them. You know, that's how they are. They're not. You know, that's the way the characters are there. So, you know, we have to have leaders in a different way, and I think we are. I think we're doing that.
Definitely. And also, we are a club that's renowned for our academy. Now, you've obviously put, you know, the likes of Sam Fuller in and Isaiah Jones on the bench this season, as well as given Nathan Wood his first start in the Championship. Is there any other players that you look at, you know, that's in the under 23s, under 18s, that you think, wow, they're going to be some player in the future?
I've never seen a better academy in my life. This is the best academy by a mile. I mean, Craig Little and I think Graham Lee takes the under 23s. I think it's at a time where I don't think teams are thinking too much about investing that much in academies, because the Premier League, the AFL sold themselves short when they give the Premier League licence to get young lads from clubs like ourselves for nothing, for peanuts really. That ruined it all. They took a few. I forget what I was trying to think of the comparison with something like in the Bible there, but they took something out of the EFL. The EFL took money off them for once at that time, and it was short-sightedness. They should not have agreed to let the Premier League pinch players from the EFL for peanuts. That was the downfall. They saw the silver, and they grabbed it, and it was the biggest mistake the EFL have ever done. But up here, because it's not on a limb, but northeast is away, I think you've got more chance of keeping. That I've noticed with the 23s and the 18s, they love it here. That's the difference. Yeah, they've all got agents. They'll all be talking to them, but they all want to get in the first team. I think that's the biggest thing up here. They want to play for the local club. They want to be in the first team. We've got some good lads. We've got. I don't know some of the surnames. I just call the midfield lads Hayden, and the lad at
Acne.
Yeah, Acne. Then I like him. I like Dodsey, who's been injured. I like him. I thought he did ever so well at fullback, but he got injured and he's on his way back. Brownie's back fit, who's already in our squad. You've got the lad Boro, you've got Isaac, and who's, you know, I'll have to give some of these a game at Brentford, even though I didn't want it to be as tough as that. But listen, you don't know till you put them in, do you? So you know, we'll have to see it down there.
Definitely. And you've also managed for so many years. How reflective are you as a manager? Do you ever like go home and just have massive regrets, or do you need people to tell you that you've made a mistake, or do you know when you've made a mistake?
I think you know. Well, I don't look at your bloody forums when I've made a mistake. I only look at the forums when we win games. But I think, you know, I remember going home after the Preston game and got home quite late. Sharon asked me what I wanted. I had a nice little glass of scotch, and I remember thinking, not saying it because I thought I daren't tell Sharon, and I'm thinking, what am I doing here at 72? Just got battered at bloody Preston. I'm up here in a rented house with a scotch, and I've got a bloody lovely place in Cornwall, Italy. You know what I mean? That's what you think about. But you can't get down for more than a few hours in management, because it'll kill you if it does. You've just got to think, well, I'm here because I've got a fantastic job. I'm working for a fantastic... That's why I went into it next day. I said what I thought. I woke up about 4 o'clock thinking, what am I going to say to them? You know, they'll all be down, heads will be down, and I knew exactly then. I thought, right, yeah, we've got a fabulous club, fabulous owner, fabulous facilities, fabulous fans. What more do you want, you know? Let's bloody forget that now. Let's get on with, who was it on the Saturday? Millwall. Right, yeah. So, you know, we're very lucky to be up here. So I'm going to enjoy it while I can. Obviously, good health and happiness is, somebody said to me, what do you wish for? One of the press guys. And I think he thought at Christmas, I was going to say something like 3 points. That's bloody rubbish. I never wish for 3 points. All I wish for is good health and happiness for me and my family. And that's, you know, more important than 3 points. But do I get disappointed? Yeah, of course I get disappointed. The probably biggest disappointment for me this whole season was having to go home after the Norwich game, knowing that we should have beaten, because we were better than them. They never had a bloody shot. And then we lost the game. And everybody expects us to lose. So everybody thought it were, you know, but not to me. That was the biggest disappointment for me, because we were better than them on the day. And can't wait to play them down there.
Another manager that's obviously managed as long as yourself, Harry Redknapp, he's renowned for nearly signing, you know, some of the best players in the world, with the likes of Eden Hazard and Neymar or whatever. He said he's almost signed. Who's the best player that you nearly signed or could have signed throughout your managerial career?
Do you know, I wouldn't have a clue, son. I can't think that far back. I mean, I'll give you a name, and then I'm driving home and I'll think, well, why didn't I say him or him or him? You know, probably the biggest mistake I ever made, and I can't remember which club I was. You'll have to look back at... Anyhow, I have a French player who played for me, a fabulous player, who is an agent now in France, and he knows every player there is. So he helped me. If I get a French player thrown at me by our recruitment team, I will go straight to this guy and tell him, and he'll tell me straight away, Gaffer, don't touch him with a barge pole. He's not your kind of player. He's good on the ball, but he doesn't work hard. He's not good in the dressing room. Or he'll say, oh, yeah, if you could. Anyhow, this lad rang me up one day when I was, I think, Sheffield United, I think. He said, I've got a good player for you, Gaffer. He said, second division in France. I said, second division in France? He said, yeah. He said, 100 grand he'll cost you. I said, 100 grand, second division? I can't be spending that on a second. Gaffer, he's a good player, this lad. That was Didier Drogba. So that shows you how good I am, doesn't it? I said, 100 grand for them? Yeah, Gaffer, he's a good player, trust me. Since then, I've trusted him every time, if I'm honest. I believe everything he says now. But it just shows you, right, his career could have been different.
Yes, definitely. On that bombshell, I'll go and I'll let someone else ask you a few questions. So thank you very much, Neil, and have a lovely Christmas.
Thank you.
David?
Hi, Neil. First of all, on a personal note, what everyone said, thanks for everything that you're doing, and something that I really look forward to is your press conferences. I actually use it as part of my working week to actually have a spare half an hour, and I like the fact that it goes on that long, so please continue doing that. So what I would like to first of all ask is, are you all ready for Christmas? I suppose that's a question that no one's asked yet.
Yeah, I got my sprouts in this morning in Spa. I thought, I bet in case of the shortage, I've got to have sprouts. So she said to me on the other day, I went shopping, but I didn't get sprouts because they didn't look good. I said, leave it to me, love.
So I got them in this morning, put them in garage so they're nice and cold. So I'm happy now. But we'll only be having chicken, I'm afraid. We haven't got, we're up here, just us three, me, Sharon and William. So, we'll but I enjoy Christmas. I have in my pyjamas all day. Yeah. Don't wash my hair usually, it's one of them mucky days. And we put the old films on. I think, what did we watch last week? This, I can't remember what it is now. Sloppy Christmas film, I like watching a Christmas film. We got 2 lovely dogs. We might go for a walk this year, depending on weather. Some lovely walks around there, and I love walking down into Herworth, the village, and through there. And when it goes dark, the houses all lit up and all the Christmas lights and that. You can sense it all down there. Like I said, we're enjoying living up here. It's there's times you wish you'd got everything that you've got down in your own home down in Cornwall. And my daughter's down there, so we'll miss her this Christmas. She works at one of the hospitals. She's a radiotherapist, and so she's one of the you've got to credit all these national health, haven't you? The way they go about it. They've been incredible, good job we've got them, all these people.
Mm-hmm. So, as like many people, I'm behind on your books. So I'm currently listening to the Gaffer. I think I'm on about chapter 9. And what I've really picked up is, and it's been mentioned quite a few times, is your management style and your man management. And there's a lot of times you talk about putting your arm around players and telling them what they need to hear and that they're good. And if they're not good, then you tell them that way. So is it possible for you to sum up with 3 words your management style?
I think I would say motivational, really. Motivational.
I don't really know. I could think of any other words, really. Motivational. I think I'm kind to my players at times. Humorous and kind. I think they're the 3, really. They all tie in with it. But I do demand an awful lot as well. I don't mind them having a laugh. But, when they go over that line, they're representing me, and I don't take anything less than 100%.
Mm-hmm. Good. And continuing on that theme, we've got the lucky pants chapter, of course, in the book. So, what is your current lucky item that you were potentially sporting now?
Well, it's a bit different at the minute. I didn't used to wash my shirt before games and what have you, but
I wore a different shirt last week, and I probably know for my press conferences I'd probably still wear the same shirt for my press conference. I saw one magpie before the Birmingham game, which upset me a little bit, but we won 4-1, so I might not be as worried next time now.
No, definitely not.
But I have, quite a lot. I never shave the day before. I never cut my toenails the day before. Things like that, little things, silly things really, but not going to change now, am I?
No, exactly. There's a lot of big money in football at the moment, and probably the biggest news story of the last couple of weeks is Hollywood A-list has taken over Wrexham. So I just wondered, what are your thoughts on this?
It's a good club, lovely little club.
Got bags of history, You won't even remember Mickey Thomas scoring a goal against bloody Arsenal. Was it Arsenal? Can't remember. Anyhow, but knocking somebody out of the cup with Wrexham, I think it was, it's always been a super club. And listen, anything that can help at this moment in time, money's tight. And if somebody wants to come in and do it for the right reasons, I'm sure they'll get their money back with all these Netflix behind the scenes. I'm just making notes now. I started this week. I thought, well, whatever happens, I ought to do a 12-month little book of some of these things, didn't I? For you lot this year, they sold out my book in shop in about half an hour, didn't they? That 106.
Yeah.
I forgot to say that. Sure, he let them have one each. Apparently, one bloke come in and wanted 4. You only have 3. He went, well, I've got me auntie, my uncle, my so-and-so, me. So, you know. But I enjoyed doing my books. They were good. My best one is my daughter, which I've not heard it, right. I do an audio. I don't know whether that's the Gaffer or my autobiography. I can't remember now.
You're right on that one, yeah.
I do an audio one, and Amy's been listening to it going to work in the morning, and she said she's really enjoyed it. And I did that. I weren't going to do the audio one when they did the book, and they sent me a clip of this guy who was going to do it. He was an actor from Liverpool. Can you imagine doing my book with a Liverpool bloody accent? I listened to it. I said, oh my God, I can't be doing that. So I rang him up. I said, listen, I'll come up and do it. Can we do it in 2 days? They said, yeah, we can do it in 2 days, I think. So, and it weren't easy, but it's better coming my own voice, isn't it, than...
Yeah,
oh
I like when you tell the referee stories and the way you always end it with, and that's another £2,000 I've been fined. I don't think anyone else could have probably said it any better than yourself.
No, I know. I mean, Craig Pawson. Last twice I've been fined has been Craig Pawson against Chelsea, both times.
20 odd grand a time, you know. I've probably bought a couple of, I don't know what these FAs, I've paid for a few conferences, I think, for them. But, you've just got to, you know, it's sad, really. I'd really like to tell the truth about some of these things in the next few years, but whether I could do that legally, I don't know, without solicitors' letters.
You'll have to do some after dinner speaking, then you'll be able to.
Yeah. Can you see any dinners? Anyway,
after dinner Zooms.
For quite a few, you know. Hopefully, I mean, we've got to get the fans back first, haven't we? Hopefully, we get the fans back before the end of the season. Once we've got to get this vaccine up and running, haven't we? I can't wait to have it, but
you know, I don't know when we'll get it up here. But once, you know, if we can get the fans back in before the end of the season, hopefully there'll be some, you know, you'll be able to do some sort of sportsman's dinners. I like going out to supporters clubs, mate. You know, I went out to about 4 or 5 in Cardiff. Had great nights, you know, with them, and as long as you don't get stitched up, you know, it's. I think it's all right, you know. When I was at Sheffield, I remember going to one, and they asked me about this player, and I said, "Oh, he's got a heart as big as a pea. That's his trouble." Anyhow, we were all on papers next day when he come knocking on my door. What's this, Gaffer? What you said? I said, "Oh, sorry, pal." I said, you know, just joking with him and that. Somebody had got a recorder in pocket at side of me, you know, recording me speeches and that. So I've had to be a bit careful since then. Don't want too much trouble.
Just got one last one, if that's okay. So, of course, we've discussed you've been in the game very long time and probably hitting a legendary status. There you go, there's a status for you. Is there a lot of managers over the years that have come to you for advice, like in like a mentoring sort of style? Do you have managers coming to you asking questions?
Yeah, I've only had sort of 3 or 4, might be half a dozen. That's all. I mean, when I speak to people, I'll try and help them much as I can if I want. I once said to the LMA, the league managers, the league managers, if there's any young manager who wants to come and follow me for a day and see what I'm like, they can just come and follow me and see what my day is like, you know. And I've never had anybody. So it's, you know, it's. I think what a waste what a waste. You know, what could they learn off somebody like me? But it's sad, really. It's sad, but that's how it. It's like, you know, the LMA, the league manager, which is fabulous. It does really well for the managers. But they do a degree now in football management, and it's at Warwick University, I think. It's 2 or 3 years. They do, and they get a degree out of it. Yeah. Now, I haven't got any qualifications, me, right? Because I started before they got it. I got my prelim badge or something like that. But I have to have a thing from the FA authorising me that I can manage. Are you with me? Because I've obviously been in it that long. But the league, they get a degree in it at Warwick University, and they can do this and they can do that. And I always said when I see the league managers, you don't do a degree in man management. You do a degree on a computer. That ain't how football works. Whether it's I mean, I managed in Sunday League. I used to collect 50p subs off the lads Sunday League, put the lights on at the place, take them washing to the laundrette after games on a Sunday League with secretary. Used to sit there and pick them up. Then you have to pick them up later on. Clear the snow off the pitches. You know, in the winter. I've done it all really in that respect. But man management's still the same. I still wanted to get the best out of my Sunday League teams. I got them sweaters to travel in the Sunday competition what they had, and we entered it, and we played a team at Stoke, and we went overnight and had jumpers and things. You can always, whatever you've got, whether it's a kids team. When I was at Hartlepool at Seaton Carew, a little kid knocked on the door and said, "Are you Warnock?" I said, "Yeah." "Who are you?" "Paul." I can't remember his second name. He says, "Will you come and train us? We're on green. We only train on green." So, and he looked like a little urchin. And I said, "Well, when do you train?" He said, "After school." I said, "Right, I'll see you tomorrow, 4 o'clock. So I used to train these lads up there. And before I left Hartlepool, we had a team. We got a team, and we entered them in the league. And I remember playing this team and scoring from a corner kick, a set piece that we'd worked on. Oh my God! I don't know whether you ever saw that film Kes, when he had his whistle round his neck. "I am Bobby Charlton today," you know. Well, we ran down that bloody touchline, 5-5 him with this goal with the kids. And that's what's managing about. When you coach a team, whether you're coaching under 8s, under 15s, 23s, pros, when you do a session, coaching is about, when that session finishes, have they learnt anything? A lot of coaches go A, B, C, I'll finish on D, because they're taught that. But if A is no bloody good, you shouldn't go on to B. It's all about improvement at every level, whatever age you are. Not, you know, if you can improve a player in that session, that's what coaching's about. All these degrees and bloody hell.
Anyhow, come on, who else? Anybody else?
Matty?
Yeah, cheers for that. Again, yeah, I'll echo everyone else's thought about it's great to have you as manager. I remember when you beat us 1-0, I never started a few years ago, and me and my friends begged you to take the job, and glad that you finally got around to it a few years later.
Thanks, Matty. You see, you've had your Christmas box before, a bit early, haven't you, today, son? With that jumper on.
Oh, it's a lovely one. I got the brochure underneath, but I didn't know what you want to put on. But yeah, no, thanks for that. Again, you've answered most of the questions they had, really. But I think one of the main ones I've got is, obviously, we're doing really well this season, up to 6 now. What is probably the best promotion you've achieved in your career? And if we were to go up this year, where would that rank?
If we went up this year?
Yeah, when we got this year.
Well, if we went up this year, I'd bloody walk across the Tyne, me, and see you at the other side. It's you know, it's don't let's get carried away. You know, it's we you know, there's a lot of expensive squads in this league, so but it's nice to be at that end, isn't it? It's nice to be playing against these people and know that on a good day we can beat them. You know, it's just getting that little bit of consistency, really, isn't it? But every promotion I've had, they've been brilliant. So I can't really say that one's better than that one. I'm often asked that, are you with me? But every one I've had, you know, I can see the green and white army at Plymouth. Never been to Wembley. 30-odd thousand in Division 4, which were Division 4 then. You know, and coming back down the motorways with all the scarves and open top bus rides and round the Plymouth. You know, I can't. And you know, when you're a Green Army fan, you know, you go from Plymouth to bloody Hartlepool watching it. And you know, I remember at Hartlepool going to sign. I try and sign some autographs when I drive in before the game. And I remember going to a big gate at Hartlepool, and there was a man with his son behind the gate, and "Oh, hiya, Neil, could you just sign my son's autograph?" I said, "Of course you can." I said, bloody hell, I said, where have you come? I said, "No," I said, "I bet you were up early, weren't you? What time did you leave? About 6? They went, "No, 2:30. I said, 2:30? He said, "Yeah." I said, "Where did you come from?" St Ives, he said. Bloody hell, to go to Hartlepool. Oh my God, you know, and that's what fans are. They love the clubs, don't they? I mean, Middlesbrough's not much different, is it, in mileage, some of these clubs. So I look at, I thought, you know, like the fans, the supporters, Huddersfield had never been since 1930 odd, and that was an amazing victory because we only crept into the playoffs on the last day of the season. We finished 6th. If we get in playoffs, my teams are bloody hard to play against, I'll tell you. Nobody will want to play against, as I said. But we got in playoffs at Huddersfield. Sheffield United, we lost the playoff there, but that were only one that were in Cardiff. I don't lose at Wembley. So, you know, if we can get there. I've had four of them, and they were really, you know, Plymouth and Huddersfield, and they were really special. QPR were amazing. Getting promotion with QPR, and the only thing we didn't have a civic reception around. It was a bit a strange club off the field really at the time. Owners trying to sell the club. If you ever get a chance to see it it's on one of these channels, not Netflix or one of the others. It's a 4-year plan they call it. If you ever get a chance to watch that 4-year plan, you want to watch it, and then you'll see how I could be successful working for them. It was, you know, it's a bloody eye opener, really. That but it's one of them things. I really enjoyed it. So it was nice. And then Cardiff, you know, to be, I think we were level third, you know, relegation when I took over, kept them up, and then following year to get a promotion. I mean, you know, they talk about they want, you know, not the style of football and all that other. You know, I go back to Michelle. You know, they've changed the style this year, so they say. I don't see that much, if I'm honest. But to get promotion with that group were fabulous, and to bring them lads in, and the fans were amazing at Cardiff. Oh my God, I loved them. So you know, their memories they can't take away from me now, and that's the only thing I miss up here. Really, I do these programs with you guys, but I do miss fans. I do like the rapport with fans before a game, during a game, after a game. Are you with me? Even away from home, I like having I'm Sheffield Wednesday 29th. Whenever I turn up at Sheffield Wednesday, the bus is there, and I said to the lads, all get off before me, lads. So they'll all get off and walk up, you know, and it's about a 30-yard walk from the bus where this park up to the dressing room. And they're all behind the rope normally, and stewards holding them back. And you know, last time I put my foot out the bottom step and I shouted, "Thanks for waiting for me, everybody. I'm here." You know, I mean, and then when I walk up, I always pick on a young lad with his dad, and I always say, "I'm sorry you're going to be crying tonight, son, on your way home, but it's only once a year." You know, I love that. That's what I love. And I don't like at the top level how they have got bloody headphones on and they walk straight in listening to music when the fans are. You should sign autographs for fans, even if it's only 2 or 3. It disappoints me that. I like my players to sign a few autographs if they can. You know, the people forget about fans at times. It's all not me, but you know what I mean, don't you? It's very commercial now. So I think I've had the best years, really.
I guess only last one for me, because I think it's time for everyone to go for their tea soon enough. Duncan Watmore, obviously we've offered him a new contract. What are your hopes of him staying on? I've got rumours from the in-laws, from my in-law dad he might be going to Norwich. So please put that to rest and say he signed a new contract.
If Duncan wanted to go to Norwich, I won't stop him after the injuries he's had. You know, he's a fabulous lad. And if he went to Norwich, it'd be the biggest mistake he ever made.
So that's all I can say, me. It don't worry me, things like that. That's, you know, that I don't worry about players turning me down. I always think it's their loss. And it's done for a reason. You know, I look at, like I said, the players last year who I looked at, most of them are injured. Nobody's really knocked the door down that we were after. So I'm quite happy with how it is. And I've told, all right, Neil's been talking to his man, I think, for a week, but I've never heard anything about Norwich, so, you know, you probably know more than me. But I don't lose any sleep over it. I think it'd be stupid to leave the team and myself when this season isn't about money. This season's about him playing some games after his injuries. and he fits in so well with us. He's a lovely lad. So I think he'd be an idiot, mate. But hey, that's how it goes, isn't it? Life. Win some, you lose some. Like your jumper, son. All right.
Just one last one from me, Neil, and we'll let you go. In terms of free kicks, I know I always see Paddy McNair and Tav always sort of squabbling between themselves who's going to take the free kick. Do you have a preference who should take it?
Now, I think the position of it is important, if I'm honest. I always think sometimes a right footer is better than a left footer. Are you with me? For the angle. I mean,
I told, I think it was Tav. I thought Paddy should have had the last one, and Tav took it and put it over the. I think it hit the stanchion at the back of the stand somewhere. But no, I think they have to just decide that. I mean, they are pretty good on them, and you know, I think it's an important part. If you can get 10 goals out of free kicks and corners, it's hell of a help, you know, to a manager. But I never get disappointed now. I think the fans know, you know, there'll be somebody, no doubt, when they hear this saying, what's he saying about you can't score from corner? You know, what kind of manager is that? You know, don't know what. Well, they want to come down and watch us train with him. You know, you can't do things if you haven't got the tools, and we haven't got the tools. Simple as that. So we don't worry about that. We try and score from other angles now, or from other positions now, and win games different ways. But you know, I'm sure that in your career as a manager, you do like the opportunities to score goals from free kicks, because it helps. It takes pressure off you, you know. But no, nothing. I think whoever really they fancy. I mean, I like Britt on penalties, but I'm not overly, you know. But he did stick one in one of the games, Britt. So it's who fancies it on the day, really, isn't it?
Finally, have you received your Christmas present yet from the fans? We sent you one. We sent you and the coaching staff some presents.
Oh no, we haven't. We've got dinner tomorrow. We've got our Christmas dinner tomorrow.
All right, cool.
So I'll tell you what, I have got that, and I must thank you. I've got a few presents tonight picking up from the reception, and I said, "Who are they from?" A supporter had dropped them in. There's one for Donald and one for Monty, my dogs.
Yeah.
Is that theirs?
That's right.
All right. Well, they're under the tree. She says, "Oh, should we?" No. I said, "Don't open them till Christmas Day. It's for the kids. You know, you can't open them till Christmas Day." We let Donald have a sniff. He weren't sure about it. But no, it's. I've got to say, it was a tremendous effort by everybody regarding that. We made 12 grand out of that award of mine. I mean, 12 grand for the Butterwick. I thought we might get 2 grand, but to get 12 is fantastic. And all the money from my book. I mean, I've had, I think, 4 boxes of books. They're all going to go to that Darlington Hospice and all. So I think, well, if we can generate anything. It's a pity, because I like going to hospitals and that at Christmas time. And are you with me? I was going to do a signing at the shop with some of the players, but we're not allowed to do that either. Poor old Joe at the shop. You know, I went in one day and signed all sorts behind the scenes, and you know, I said to her, "Can I just go around and sign?" She said, "I said they might not want it," but she said, "Oh, they will." And I signed all these little bags and all sorts of key rings and you name it. I was about half an hour signing things, but I think you know, you've got to try, and at this time it's a bloody horrible time for us, and we've got to try and give everybody a lift. And the players are good. The players would do anything I asked them like that, but we're not allowed to with all the health things and everything. You know, it is a shame. But hopefully, after Christmas we can sort things out, and you can come back. And Blackie says, when I had COVID myself, he says the Bournemouth game was fabulous. The atmosphere, the 2,000 fans. It's brilliant. So I can't wait for that, because obviously it's ironic that only one I missed was that one. And I thought we might have got them at Wickham, but that's changed now, hasn't it? From a 3 to a 4 or what have you. So we're not going to get them at Wickham now either. So I don't know when my first one's going to be. But I would like to thank all the fans that contributed to that. Let's hope I can raffle a few more off before end of season, eh?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Never know. So, but thanks. Fans have been brilliant to me and my family. Sharon's loved it, and it helped me when, you know, I got a bottle of Chateau Neuf de Pape in the post today from a lady, a big fan in London, a police officer. And she sent me a bottle of Chateau, because I must have said on one of the things I had a bottle of Chateau Neuf de Pape or something. And she sent me a lovely letter and that. And things like that, I really appreciate that. You know, it's not, I like to do things different. Even with Karen, my secretary, I get letters and she'll come in to dictate replies and there'll be a number on it and I'll just ring it up. And instead of writing a letter, I ring it up and Neil Warnock here, and they think I'm taking mickey, they think it's somebody else most of the time. But I love ringing up fans when they're not expecting it. I've got photographs with like a postcard thing, which I send off now to people that write up and all. And it's great to contribute something like that at this time. And I am enjoying it. But like I say, I'm not going to be here long, am I? I don't mean here at Middlesbrough, I mean here. So I've got to enjoy every minute, really. And I'm determined I am going to do. And it's because of people like you that makes it worthwhile. And, you know, long may that continue, all your support. Really appreciate it.
Do you fancy stopping another season if it goes well?
Well, I hope it goes well. It won't be like a train.
All right, is that everyone?
That's it, yeah. Thanks, Neil. Wish you and the coaching staff Merry Christmas from the fans, really. We appreciate your time. Look forward to hopefully a Boxing Day win if it goes ahead. And we hope to speak to you soon. And as I say, I just appreciate everything that you've done so far.
Well, and I appreciate all the support and backing I've had from you lot as well. I can't tell you how good it is. It makes such a difference when you're working hard to know that you feel rewarded. And when people like Michelle comes on and tells you, I tell you, it's lovely that. And I'm glad. I wish I could have been here a few years ago. But don't let's wish too much. I'm here now, so let's enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Thanks very much. Good night.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Cheers, Neil.